All right, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Bethel Township Board of Supervisors to order. All please rise, pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, public comment on the agenda. Being none, we'll move to actions from the Planning Commission meeting. First, we have the Hoover withdrawal letter. We had to say on that one.
Did you say the Hoover withdrawal letter?
Yes.
Sorry, I was just trying to get the screen updated.
Right.
Yes, we had talked about the Hoover at the Planning Commission, sent to their engineer. He sent an email that stated a revised subdivision and land development plan using the newly acquired lands is being prepared for submittal under the original application. Therefore, we withdraw the previous plans. So that is what we have to put in that file. So there's no action from you. I just wanted you to be updated.
Okay. All right. Next, we have the Ralph Moyer subdivision extension letter.
And that is going to January 8th, 2022.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
No.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'll second. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Then we have the main drilling and blasting annexation extension letter.
Same with that one, too, Dave.
It's the same date.
We want to go to January 8th.
Make that motion, Wilson.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. And then we have the Moyer, George Moyer subdivision. And that's the,
There's a planning module. The planning commission has signed off, your SEO has signed off. What is left is for you to authorize the chairman or myself to sign off the planning module.
Who would you rather, does it matter who?
It doesn't, Jake's been doing them,
All right.
but it says right on there, official or secretary. So.
Well, I'll just make a motion for the chairman to sign off on the Moyer subdivision.
Second it.
motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
All right, I'm gonna bring that here just so it's not forgotten in our shuffle later.
Okay.
So you guys can
And
understand.
I guess I can bring up the 550 and 551 Brown Road extension letter.
Oh, you gotta make a motion first to put that on the agenda as well.
Okay. Can I do all four of the?
Certainly. Announcement.
Okay. All right, we have four additional items to place on the agenda that were not on the one that was published. Number one, we have Lee Bemis Sturfer. Her probation ended August 18. The North Point request reduction in financial security. There's an authorization send letter. A 550 and 551 Brown Road extension letter to January 31st, 2022. And then the county breakfast with the county commissioners on October 29, need to know attendance by October 15. So do I have a motion to place those on the agenda for tonight?
I got a question, are those microphones turned on? It's a little hard to hear in the back of the room.
Yep, we're good.
I'll make the motion to add those four just stated to the agenda.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Motion is made and seconded to include these four items on the agenda this evening. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried there. Okay, then I just wanted to bring up the 550 and 551 Brown Road extension letter, which goes to January 31st, 2022, to accept that extension.
Jake, can you pull your mic a little bit closer?
Yeah. Tend to stick to the table. Okay, yeah. Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried. So that should take care of the items from the Planning Commission. Next, we have the hearing of the visitors, and for the library, we have Steve Burkhart.
Don't think he's here.
Steve here?
I
He's
don't
at a
see him.
funeral, his grandma died.
Oh, that's right, I did see that.
Okay. All right, so Steve is not here to give a report. There's- Yeah, let's, may as well do it, that's where they're supposed to be. Okay, we had 3 people that signed up on the sign-in sheet. First, we have Dennis Cyberly.
I have two things. This warehouse that was built in 022, the last one, since they only did a little bit on their side of the property, can you go back and make them do the other side of the road, the same thing? And where they put the concrete in, when you backfill along the concrete, you don't put dirt in, you put stone in. Who was watching over the construction while that was being done?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I have an inspector on the site.
And that's okay to put dirt in a shoulder area along the concrete?
Yeah, it certainly is.
So when it rained and somebody drove through it, the ruts were this deep along the concrete.
Okay.
Didn't you see that since it rained?
No, I haven't been over. They shut down and moved their construction crews off about 3 weeks ago. We haven't been there. We went out one time, I went with Brian and Mike to look at some of the flood damage, but I didn't take notice of any of that.
Well, to me, it just looks like a shady job.
Well, thanks for your comments.
The other thing is I talked to the postmaster over here in town, and he informed me that it wasn't him that changed the addresses of Old 22. And there was no problem for 30-some years. Why was the addresses from Old 22 changed? And when they were changed in March, why wasn't anybody along there notified that they were changed? Who's responsible for that?
I can address that. Old 22 was being called Old 22. It's never been Old 22 in the records that the township has. It's
Okay,
always
well-
been Old Route 22.
Let me ask you this. In June, I went to buy a car, and the notary was doing the paperwork, put my address in that's on my license for the last 30 years, Old 22, and the state rejected it because somebody changed it and made it Old Route 22. Why was that done?
Because the township records show Old Route 22.
For
So when,
30 years, there was nothing done. Now all of a sudden, it just gets changed, and nobody, why didn't you notify anybody that lives along there? Because it caused a lot of problems.
so then when that was done, we worked with Harrisburg Post Office, we worked with Bethel Post Office, we worked with the 911 system. They were all saying, for the safety of the residents, we need to make it consistent. That was the only section that was showing Old 22. They asked me to look at the records, it shows Old Route 22. So that's when they all said, it's Old Route 22. That's fine. We believe that the Harrisburg Post Office was going to do something to the residents so that you would know that it was gonna be Old Route 22. That's why the township didn't do anything. The 911 center did what they needed to do to send it to Harrisburg also, everybody confirming it was gonna be Old Route 22. That's what I know. I then talked to, after I've heard about a situation with a neighbor of yours, and she shared your information. That's when the Bethel post office was going to put a note in everybody's address in your post office saying you need to make sure that you have the route on there.
Yeah, why is this 3-4 months after the fact?
I do not know why they took that long to do it.
And my neighbor across the street, he had problems with his doctor because the billing outfit for his doctor says that his address is no good.
Yep, that's the other person that I talked to on Old Route 22.
So it caused a lot of problems for a lot of people who weren't even notified that our addresses have changed, and we weren't notified that they were changed.
I understand that. We were under the assumption that they were going to do that through the Harrisburg post office. They were going to take care of that since it was a, I don't want to say regional, but everybody from Old 22 in Greenwich Township on up through is Old Route 22. It was that little section.
Okay, and how comes down there at on Old 22 and 183, when you go across 183, the sign says Old 22 going toward Charlesville? It don't say Old Route 22, it just says Old 22.
I don't know, that's not within us, so I don't know. Bethel had assured me that they put out the notices into your mailboxes. That's what I know.
Well, I was the supervisor when everybody got box numbers, and it was changed from what it was before, and that was over 30 years ago, and there was never a problem. Now all of a sudden it gets changed. I just wanted to know why.
911 system.
It seems kind of funny. It took 30-some years to figure it out.
They're also changing the 911. The 911 system isn't being changed, but all addresses are trying to be consistent so that when you have a fire or needed the ambulance or
Well, the addresses all in
whatever.
Bethel Township are consistent, except for like across the street from me, when they developed the property and the post office or the township, whoever hands the numbers out, can't keep them in sequence as they go down the road.
Well, that could be the next change that's coming to help the 911
One side of the
system.
road is supposed to be even, one side is odd. You go on the other side of the road where it developed, and then the numbers aren't even in sequence.
Amen. I know that.
And who did that? Who handed them addresses out?
That was prior to me, so I don't know. It
But
could
it
have
was
happened
somebody
30
with the
years ago.
township?
They're the ones that do addresses, yes. We are the ones doing addresses. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if there's any other problems with developments in the township, but I know across the street from me there is.
We're gonna be working on it. One of the past supervisors said that was one of the things they were going to work on. They had gone to a meeting and, unfortunately that person is no longer here. But at some point Bethel Township is going to be forced to get all the addresses that are confusing or bad fixed. So there's gonna be more letters and items going out saying, we've gotta change your address, sorry you were there 30, 40 years, but it's gotta change for the system. So, there you go.
That's all I got right now.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment in addition to that. I was at a meeting where they were discussing the changes in the 911 system, and for them, it's all about consistency. That's why the address changes are taking place. And they understand, and they said this up front before they started making corrections throughout the county, but they said that they understand that it causes a lot of problems with people that have lived there for years, and suddenly their address changes. They don't move, nothing changes except their address. And it's an aggravation. But they're just trying to get things consistent for the emergency services to get in
Well, it
there.
wouldn't be so bad if they would have notified everybody when it happened.
Yeah,
They didn't do nothing.
Right, I agree. Those are the glitches you run into. Okay, next we have Helen Strickler on the sign-in sheet.
It's been 10 years since Bethel, or better than 10 years, that we hooked up to the sewer in this township. Now, if we have so much money to buy equipment and stuff, why can't we lower our sewer bill? We should have had paid for the sewer authority by now, for the sewer plants and everything else. I mean, in 10 years, we paid a lot of money in, every one of us. We're paying $90 a month for sewer. That's $270 a quarter. My brother gets water, sewer, and trash for $150 a month. A quarter, rather. So why can't we lower our sewer bill to $50 and help the community out if we have so much money? Why must we keep paying and paying and paying, and what are we paying for?
Any comment?
Well, first of all, the sewer rates are set by the sewer authority or the municipal authority.
I know they're set by the sewer authority, but I know this committee here is over the sewer authority. They are our commander-in-chief for our township.
Well, actually, the sewer authority is an independent authority. They run the sewer and they set the rates. And I don't know, I don't represent the sewer authority. Generally, the rates are set based upon the debt ratio that you would have and the number of customers. So in order to stay in compliance with their lenders or their bond holders, they have to have a certain amount of revenue to come in to put in reserve for future capital expenses and to pay existing debt service.
They should have had that whole thing paid for by now. If I put $1 million chicken house up in 10 years, I could pay for it. Now, why can't the sewer authority be paid for? And why can't the people in this township take a break?
Again, ma'am,
We can't even sell our homes in this area because when they hear the sewer price, they don't want to buy your home.
I don't represent the sewer authority, but I think your concern should be addressed to that authority.
Well, I want it looked into.
All right?
I got a question, since, the sewer rate never went down since it was installed, how much are these warehouses putting towards the sewer? What's their rates?
I would have no idea.
I mean, you got a couple of warehouses that went online since the sewer went in. You got 2 across the street over here, and you got 2 down here right now. Well, actually, you got Diefenbach's, you got, I don't know if, which place is.
MRD.
They are, and then you got the next warehouse, and then you got this, new last warehouse that just went on. I mean, you got these warehouses, that's say 5 places, big place, businesses that went on. That should have reduced it some, but it seems like the local people and town people, it didn't get dropped at all since it was installed.
Yeah, well, they're paying their share, these warehouses are.
Well, what is their share?
First Wednesday of the month, 7 o'clock is their meeting. They
That
have-
wasn't the question. The question is, what's their share?
Well, I know, but that's who's gonna have those answers. It goes by EDUs and cabin fees.
And ma'am, I represent 6 different authorities, and, you know, what your belief is a misconception that's very, very common. The only power that a board of supervisors or a borough council has over their authority is the appointment of members for 5-year terms. The authorities have their own solicitor, their own engineer, their own auditor and accountant. Some of them have their own manager. They meet on a separate night, and they borrow money and pay their bills separately, and don't ever have to get an approval or permission of a board like them to do so. I know from being the engineer for Fredericksburg Authority down the road, you take the Ace warehouse, they have 1.1 million square feet. They're only using about 2,000 gallons a day, excuse me. So for that authority, the ACE contribution of money was very insignificant. You would think, being such large buildings, that there would be a lot of flow and a lot of revenue, but there isn't. Jane talked about the night when the authority meets, and they have to abide by the same rules of public comment and advertising their agenda on the website and posting it on their office. And most authorities do have presidents like you come and express your concerns and ask your questions, and they're obliged to give you answers. So I think you should talk to the
I
authority.
paid $385 a month for 3 years to the sewer authority. And when I didn't hook up when they wanted me to, they charged me $1,000 fine. Now, that $90 just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. Now, I'd like to know what the books all say, because this is getting ridiculous.
Well,
It's
again,
time for a recount.
there's, you have to address those questions to the municipal authority. We don't have the information.
When's our meeting?
First Wednesday of
First
every month.
Wednesday of the month, 7 o'clock.
Okay, we have one more person on the hearing of the visitors, and that's Fred Bowman.
Okay, I've been attending these meetings rather faithfully since July of 2018. And I've had a number of observations. I'd like to just observe 4 or 5 things tonight. Bethel Township's wealthy. It's getting more so each year due to commercial development. And while the frugality of past years is no longer a strict necessity, I feel that a bit of old-fashioned restraint could lead to significant lower real estate taxes. Some townships east of us here in Bethel actually pay no real estate taxes because the development covers 100%. Lower taxes are of great interest to all taxpayers, which we just heard it here, and would likely be preferred to building an ever-increasing base budget. Second observation, the township has no functioning newspaper or newsletter. As a consequence of that, most township residents are not informed of township affairs in general or finances in particular, nor are they included in near or long-term plans for allocating or increasing revenues. For example, I've never seen a compilation of year-to-year revenues and expenditures, and I'm unaware of any broadly articulated goals for applying surplus funds. Undirected surplus funds provide a strong temptation to spend on potentially unnecessary things. We have money, we have this money, why not spend it on this or this? You fill in the blank. I'd like to suggest that perhaps a finance committee appropriately represented in charge could bring relevant expertise, reasoned thought, and advice to the supervisors with respect to actual and projected revenues and potential allocations of that revenue for healthy financial planning and community-wide benefit. Let the community have a vote. Another is that for the past 2 years, I've noticed that Jake attends and reports on all the boards and outside councils, such as library, recreation, environmental. It's not the same is true tonight, as you'll see. And he's also the liaison to various meetings. I think there's 5 or 7 of those. And my question is, who will do this time-consuming community outreach service and communications work for the township when Jake is no longer a supervisor? When I first started coming here, the work was more distributed amongst the supervisors. In January 20 and 21, organizational meetings found Jake being assigned, I believe, to all the reporting activities except oversight of 2 departments where employee supervisors oversee their bosses, and thus their own jobs. This arrangement seems to me to be a bit inappropriate and precludes any real accountability. I understand townships are increasingly developing policies where supervisors are not allowed to be employees while serving as supervisor. And another one is that why does a township not have an experienced, organized, responsible roadmaster to manage the affairs of the roadworks department? Pete Davis has been gone for over a year. Pennsylvania's second-class municipalities code provides ample direction and descriptions for a roadmaster, and much of that can be found on the internet. I think we definitely need a roadmaster. And finally, the resident participation in township affairs is relatively low. Now, this would not be true tonight. If you look around here, there's quite a few people here tonight. But when I first started coming here, outside of the people that were required to be there because we were on the agenda, there were only 3 or 4 residents in attendance. We've got 2,000. We got 2,000 registered voters, and with 12 meetings per year, if residents took a turn at attending, in turn,
Fred.
they would have to come once every 33 or 40 or 42 years.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fred. Can you give us the game? Okay.
Jake, will we be going back over to the library at all, or is that gone off the agenda?
No, we're not there yet.
Okay, I know Steve wasn't here, I wasn't sure if that was.
Right. I guess we should be doing HVAC bids next. Do you have those?
Yes.
Was it bid?
Yeah, we skipped, when Steve wasn't here, you just kind of skipped what was there, so we could go
Tell them not to
back
do it.
to that. And we're not in a new section, so we don't have to wait for the library. And you could address those library things under that. I mean, that's why it was the library at the hearing of visitors, so.
You want to hold that till the library?
No, what I'm saying is you can do the HVAC and you can do the library, because when Steve Burkhart was here, that was library time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, under library, is really just to report what's happening at their meetings. The first one is for you to talk about what you're doing at the library, so.
So we should do the bids. I think that's what she's saying.
I would do the HVAC now, since, let's get it off the agenda. Or-
Okay.
Yep.
You have the bids there, I can read them out.
Good.
Okay, we had 2 bids come in. Mike handed this, but this doesn't apply. I wouldn't think. It's a bid to do the HVAC in the library.
But they didn't come in and see it, that
It wasn't a sealed bid.
It's got to be sealed.
Okay, let me read the numbers. The first bid offers a base price of $44,750.
From?
That is from George Strom in Lebanon. That's the bid he made. He had some other options, but the other options were not included in the bid process, so we can't address them. The other one was Spots Brothers in Schuylkill Haven. And their price, and this is apples to apples, they're bidding on exactly the same system. Boy, got a lot of numbers here, looking for the ones that matter.
48 something.
48.3 from the bottom. Right. Yeah, I thought it was this, isn't this?
Oh, there it is, okay,
Which is
yeah,
at the bottom, there's the top one.
okay, got it, okay. Yeah, the bid that Spots Brothers put in was $48,300. So those were our 2 bids. 48.3 or 44.
Now, just to be clear, this is for heating and cooling, correct?
Yeah.
So it's the whole system?
Right, it's the
For the
whole
building as it stands now, not with any new additions, correct? As what we have now? Or does that include the addition that we're planning to do in the future? I'm assuming it's what we have now with an additional, when we,
You cover the 2 systems that are there.
okay. So it's what, okay, so we're basically, we're replacing what we have, okay.
Right. For the building that's there now.
Mhm, okay.
All right. So those are the 2 bids.
Got a question out here.
Yeah.
May I point out that the George Strong bid was for 2 5-ton units, and the Spots Brothers was for a 3-ton and a 4-ton.
Okay.
So you've got more money for the buck with the Strong bid. More buck for the money.
More heat and cooling for the money.
Thank you.
Tonnage is only for cooling, not heating. And more tonnage, I'll just interject here because I don't want you guys to get into a mold situation. More tonnage does not help cool the building. It helps cool it faster without dehumidifying. So without an engineer sizing up the building, I wouldn't necessarily say 2 5-ton units are better than a 3 and a 4-ton. You could be in a situation where you cool down your building so fast, then you have condensation. better to let a system run longer, for a longer period of time, and he's slightly undersized.
So in your professional opinion, since with what you do for a living, what would you suggest, the 3 to 4 or the 2 5s?
I'd have to look at it more closely.
Okay.
That's just my off the top comment.
Okay. Because I want to make sure this is done right the first time, that's why I'm asking.
Okay, we have another comment or question back here, and then I want to get to Jeff.
So, I don't know if anybody actually took the time to go and look and see what's wrong with it, but I did. Now, I'm not a professional. It seems like you might know what you're talking about. But I know that there was a question brought up here of the diagnosis we were given last month, it was shot, the unit was shot. I know we also heard about a loader that was shot, but I'm gonna focus in on this. I wanna make sure everybody can see, unless you can put it up on the big screen, what's actually wrong with the furnace. Because to me, it looks like about a $60 pipe. Has a hole in it. Water comes in around the top of the roof, ran down the pipe, rotted through the pipe.
Turn it on and test it.
No, I didn't, but you can't turn it on and test it. If you do, you're gonna have carbon monoxide in it that's reported. So to diagnose it correctly, you would know this, you would fix it first, fix the pipe, and then turn on the furnace, and then you would know. So technically, we don't know that the furnace is even shot. We just go off of hearsay. But I know before I'd spend $5,000 or $20,000, I'd take a few dollars and fix the hole that's in the pipe and turn it on. While you're doing that, this is something that is very important. If you look at the carpet that's stored next to it, cardboard boxes next to the exhaust,
That's fire hazard.
fire hazard. And he would attest that furnace is gonna run at over 1,500 degrees. It could easily catch other things on fire.
If you're
That's
looking
a
for
big
code
fire
violations,
hazard.
you can have a field day over that.
I seen that right away.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is instead of making decisions and jumping to conclusions and saying things are shot, we might wanna actually look into this.
The 2 5s.
There's a lot going on here that is not getting addressed.
Does the bid include new ductwork, Jake?
Let's see. Jeff, you want to address some of that?
The advertisement for bids required the calculations for loading to be performed by a qualified professional. I think Strom used APR Supply Company to have an HVAC engineer. One of the things that Mr. Strom found when he interviewed the library people is that there will be days in the summer when the building will have 150 people in it. A 3-ton unit would not be able to keep up. It would be very uncomfortable. And unfortunately, with schools where they have large assembly areas, the cooling systems are oftentimes sized just for those huge events, you know, the school plays, the Christmas show, whatever, you know, to eat.
So how many people are allowed in the library for the space it is?
I don't know. There was an architect that was hired. The architect did plans. I don't know if that architect's no longer in Pennsylvania. I don't know if his plans called for HVAC units or not. He would have used a mechanical, electrical, and plumbing consultant who would have sized the equipment. And from what Mr. Strom tells me, the fellow at APR Supply did just that. So he's very comfortable with his bids. I spoke to him about them to understand why his were different than the sizes we received quotes for the first time. And he said that because of the highest peak day in the summer.
Well, for that stovepipe, I could fix that myself. And I probably would.
My question was is there new ductwork included along with the new unit?
Well, there is just enough ductwork to make the connections into the system that's there. They're not gonna be replacing all the ductwork that's there.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me read out of this one bit. It says, connect the return to the existing return duct and close the returns going to the rear.
I guess the question is, we don't know, other than a hole in the pipe, does anything need to be done with the furnace or not?
Is that included, getting rid of the old furnace also?
I believe so. That was part of the bid.
We have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the 2 existing units, do we know what the tonnage is on those? My reason for my question is, if the existing systems are smaller, they're gonna require less CFM than 2 5-ton units. You're gonna be out to lunch. You won't be able to put enough air in.
We don't have air conditioning.
So there's nothing there now?
No, they just help,
It's just a furnace and then you're gonna add.
just window air
HVAC?
conditioners.
Okay, thank you.
So those are the two bids we have in front of us
Jake,
tonight.
but aren't you gonna add on to the library also, so you're gonna have to have additional ductwork, right, to go into the.
That'll be
park?
another system.
That'll be a separate unit.
Yeah.
That is addressed in Strong's report. I think his sizing calculations address the potential to increase to 10 tons for the future expansion.
Well, I was gonna ask, since you girls are there, and I know how I feel about it, but tell us what it's like there with the furnace running.
Okay, so I just want to express that our frustration about not knowing what's wrong or isn't wrong or what needs to be done or what doesn't need to be done is, we agree with that frustration. And I think the problem is that if you were building yourself a house, you wouldn't add an addition on the back and then fix part of the heater and then put in a new toilet. You would hire somebody to oversee the renovation of your home.
And give you a big plan.
And give you a big plan, and when you started, you would make a series of in order, sequential steps that made sense to get to the end product. What we're doing right now is, we're just guessing. So, we want what you guys want, which is a reasonably priced, efficient, functional building for your community. And the frustration that we have is that we have tried several different ways to do that ourselves, and we have been told that the township is gonna do that for us, which is wonderful. But we don't have a general contractor, we don't have anybody overseeing, we don't have an engineer.
We don't have information.
We don't know what's going on. So,
If we're coming in willy-nilly, and typically I'm there to deal with them, I have a master's in education, I'm not a contractor.
So I think we need somebody who knows what we need, who knows how much tonnage we need, who knows, if we have people come in to give bids and ask the staff what we need, the staff doesn't know what we need. And even I, as the director, don't know how big will the addition be, when will the addition happen. So they're all good things, but,
They're coming in not knowing what they're supposed to look at, where they're supposed to look, and what it is that we need. And so overall, we need big picture, somebody that's going to say, you're going into this building, you need to look at X, Y, and Z, here's what we need, here's what we're looking at, and not.
And we had an architect, we had a contractor, we had a plan, we had steps, and those weren't acceptable. So now we need some steps that will work, and there's some kind of political wrangling that's happening that's getting in the way also. And I think we need to keep in mind that this is not because we're fancy, this is for the good of the community. If we don't have a repaired heating system in about a month, we won't be open anymore. And that's frustrating because we opened like 2 months after COVID. We were the first library to reopen, so I would really like to stay open. So I'm not sure how you guys feel as far as we need to have like steps and a plan and things like that. But we don't have air conditioning at all right now. Our staff has put up window air conditioners, so that's pretty efficient. And then the heater is, I think it's 45 years old. So,
Which is safe to say, right, yeah, it should not be repairable.
and he's right, there's fire hazards, there's rodents, we've talked about all this stuff. It's not a safe building. It's literally, I worry that somebody will come in and shut us down because there should not be people in that building right now.
Yeah.
So I think it would be helpful to have a plan for how, we need to be patient, we need to take our time, and that's fine.
There needs to be communication.
Right.
And a plan.
And as somebody else mentioned about secession, so when certain individuals aren't on the board anymore, who's responsible for what's happening at your library?
Because right now, some of it's been overlooked and ignored.
I mean, we had rain in there before Ida, like I can show you a video, I need rain. And before Ida, I had a staff member on her day off come in, put up trash cans and tarps and things like that, so. But yes, the furnace is very loud and scary, and we had it inspected, and it is spitting carbon monoxide, and there's a fire hazard
Which is not
too.
a risk we should have to even consider.
No. I mean, I personally think that it needs to be replaced. I know it's not efficient. I know it is a dangerous issue, and I know you girls have put up with a lot of stuff,
Nonsense.
which I am not happy about. But I haven't been here that long, and I said I would do what I can to help you. But we need to move on this. Winter's coming faster than we all like.
Have you been to the library yet?
Yeah.
So you go through, so what is your overall feeling of the building?
Have you seen the back room?
Yeah, I was through the whole thing.
What is your thought on that?
My thoughts, I think the building is strong, the building itself, but it does need work. I mean, I think structurally wise, I think we have a good footprint. I do agree you're gonna need more space, but we need to address the roof, obviously, the heating and cooling, I think is, and the rodents, which I was very upset with when I saw the bathrooms, which have been addressed. I assume, I haven't been back, I know Ray was working. Okay, I was there when he was waiting for something to come back.
Nothing is
Okay.
contractor grade, nothing is,
I think the biggest frustration is there is no clear plan.
I'm sorry, but I thought Steve, and maybe I misunderstood.
And randomly, people show up, people have shown up, I'm there very early because I like to be prepared with programs I'm doing. When I have 30 children, I like to know what I'm doing and not have, and there are many people coming in saying, hey, I was told when the white car's there, we can just come in, can you show us this? Which I am more than happy to do, but give me a little education, let me know what it is you want me to show.
Absolutely.
And let me know they're coming.
These bids are a good example. I mean, so we came to the meeting where they read out the bids, and they were two different bids because neither person was really sure what they were bidding. And I pointed out that it's for the building as it is right now, but the building isn't staying as it is right now. So it's eventually, I think, gonna be one big space, and how does that change what air conditioning we need?
Well, from my understanding was, then when we did the addition, then another separate unit was gonna be put in, right?
And the problem is that the contractors coming up who know a lot more about what they're doing than I do, when they're asking us questions, I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
And right now, it's a
story
front
time,
room,
I'm not gonna.
it's a front room and a back room, and it's not staying in a front room and a back room. So we're trying to not have the township spend more money than is necessary by putting in vanities and then ripping them back out, by putting in air conditioning and then having to change it. So I
I'm more
think
than thrilled that they're stepping up and wanting to fix up their building.
but I think the thing that would maybe be most helpful for us and for the citizens of Bethel would be like understanding where are we going, what's our end goal, what are we doing and not doing.
Somebody run that other than somebody that also has township supervisor committee duties.
I don't know that, I think maybe you should reconsider having a volunteer be a quote-unquote general contractor. I met Steve a few times. I have no problem with Steve, but the fact of the matter is that he's not getting paid to do it. He's not here tonight. This is a huge project that somebody.
Well, he is at a funeral just so you know, he didn't just blow us off, but.
I talked to him.
It's not Steve that I have a problem with. It's the idea that he shouldn't have to do this.
Randy, you've had your hand,
Have you actually investigated all possibilities? Like, is that the actual best place to have a library? Is there other possibilities? Is it prudent to go and maybe look at a new building? And that was the old Shell gas station. That wasn't exactly designed to be a library.
I would love to see the library in town more versus the kids having to cross the bridge. I think that would be wonderful.
I think, is there a way that you could just possibly do the minimum amount of work needed at the minimum amount of price to make it through the winter, and then get serious about really looking at every possibility out there, and just don't rule anything out. Leave your mind open to any kind of possibility of where it could be, how it could be done, what you want to spend, how can you get the money? Can you get some grant money again? I know you went through that before, but is it possible? And not put too much money into it. That's a tricky balance. Don't put too much in, but put enough in to make it functional, but then do it right.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and I think this process started 6.5 years ago, and we started with, do we want new construction? Do we want to knock it down and start over in the same spot? Do we want to change locations? I think for us, we are open to any and all possibilities, but the can has been kicked down the road so far, and I mean, it's been good enough for this long, and that's fine, but now we're talking about, a building that hasn't been touched in 40 years, and if we're gonna start over, we should probably have a committee and a plan and a
Maybe
budget.
get some people together and get serious about it, and not kick it down the road, but actually make a real strong effort to try to solve that problem.
Well, there is a group of people, it's called the library board.
Right, right. This is our third iteration now.
we don't need a new.
This is a
bid.
third version.
Okay, my only concern is, yeah, I mean, personally, yeah, I would love to see it centrally located in town, but at the end of the day, we have a building, a sturdy building, we need, I think, at this point, to start over, and this is just my opinion, I'm only one, but to start over, I don't think would be a good idea. I think we need to keep moving forward because we have put some money into the building. But I think we need to move forward and have somebody, I agree, whether it's, you know, Mr. Klopp or Mr. Pfeiffer, whoever, because they are professionals in this field, but somebody to take the reins and get it done, I agree. But I think we need to keep moving forward because I think it has been left way too long, and like I've apologized, I'm sorry what you were dealing with, but winter's coming, so we need to move. So, you know, what can we do?
Okay.
Hire somebody to be a general contractor, right? I mean, how much have we spent so far?
I mean, that's something, I mean, I don't know, that's never been discussed, I mean,
While we're mulling that over, we have two people who want to comment, so go ahead.
First estimate, if they get approved, how long is it until they're actually, the furnace is working again? By replacing the whole system?
yeah, what's their timeline? Does anybody know?
Because I know she said that, you know, we know that 30 days they're gonna be heat.
Within a month.
The repairs that
Was it within a
are
month?
needed to make it run again.
One
those appear
gentleman
to be
said within
that type of money.
a month.
Yeah.
Which
The
one was
low
that?
bidder said within a month.
Okay,
He could have it going.
okay.
In a month.
The low bid,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Whatever happened with, I know Carl Zimmerman offered to build the library and run it to him. Whatever happened with that?
When was that?
that's the first I've heard of.
That was outside of.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's, I talked to him a little bit ago. He said he never heard anything back, but he'd like to put a building up for the library and just rent it to him.
The decision was made that, yeah, that sounds like a nice
Yeah.
alternative, and we were thinking about potentially taking up on that, but when the township, said, hey, we're gonna fix this building for you, then we obviously would allow them to fix their building instead of us spending $2,000-3,000 a month to rent his building. 'Cause that would be
Yeah,
like,
that as a backup suggestion, like if the township's not gonna do it, here you go.
and that's still, I guess, on the table. If
Sure.
the township says, hey, we don't care, let the building fall apart, the board will have to make a decision that, hey, we'll go down there.
I was just wondering, I didn't know if they knew about it or.
I don't know that they did or not, but
He does on the
I've
property at the
never-
end of town.
Yeah, he'd like to put a building up down at the end of town, move it there and yeah, he said he'd build a nice, beautiful library,
And
basically
what's
wants to
helping
know
us
what
now?
they want, and he'd put a building up and rent it to them.
Those are all issues that you might have to delve into in the months coming down the line, but right now you're facing really an emergency issue about if you want a functioning library, you're gonna have to put a heating system in.
That's why I think we need to move, like tonight, we need to accept the bid if that's what we're legally allowed to do, and we need to move forward and get these girls heat.
Based on what diagnosis, we know the whole pipe is a 60,000 galvanized pipe.
We had two different architects and engineers who told us we were different.
Exhaust, the leaking exhaust, we don't know the rest of the system.
I think we're past that.
I had two architects and engineers, like,
I don't think that $1,500 repair has anything to do with these two.
I'm sorry. I give up. It doesn't matter what we say, I give up. Somebody else make the decision because I give up.
I'll make a motion that we accept George Strom's bid for heating and air conditioning.
Okay, Mike put a bid on the table to accept the low bid
A motion.
as a motion.
And he's the one that, the lowest bid who can get started within approximately 30 days or less.
Yeah, he's the lowest bid. He said he can have it done within a month.
Shouldn't that motion be just for the heating? You're not putting air conditioning in, right? You're just doing the heating right now.
It's heating and cooling.
Once the heat's in, they don't take much.
Why wouldn't you give them air conditioning at this point? I mean, they,
That's what you advertise it for.
Yeah. This is according to the
the
bid
roof has been
advertisement.
patched and we're working on getting a roof, from what I understand, forward with that.
I think that's our biggest concern is, and I'm not.
I agree.
I appreciate what you're doing. I just wanna make sure that whatever we're doing now isn't gonna get ruined by things we
I
haven't done
agree,
yet.
I agree, but,
And that's where a general contractor would help. Hey, we should do these things first.
Right, sequentially,
Or
we
like
get,
somebody's coming at 11 o'clock,
It's just
tell
a
them this,
minute.
this, and this.
yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we have a motion on the table to accept the low bid from George Strom.
I second that,
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Motion is carried, and the bid is $44,750.
I do have a question for you girls. How, did you have water with our 7 inches last week or the week before?
Yes.
You did, okay.
So are you gonna make a motion to get somebody to check the roof?
Well, I'm thinking
If
on the
roof is
correct
a big
wording.
problem, You
Um,
might as well fix that first.
well, that's my point, as, if I have time to speak here, is we do need to address that. That's why I wanted the girls to answer the question that I just gave them. Okay, so yeah, we got the heating and cooling, that's great. They need heat, these kids need heat, and the girls, and they need air conditioning in spring. But we do need the roof. I think that's another major issue that needs to get moved on. And then what else, go from there, you know, if we wanna have a contractor, I don't know, I'm looking for suggestions.
Yes.
Maybe someone that can head this on, I would be for it.
And good.
You know, is there a resident that would be interested? Obviously, we can't.
Just in that.
Jake, Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for the amount of the money it's going to cost to put a roof on that building, we need to do bids anyway.
Right, I think we need to wait on the roof till we put the addition on so they can do a whole new roof right across. You know what I mean?
Can we get somebody up there to at least make sure that we don't get more water? Can we? I don't know. I'm just looking for
I guess
suggestions.
we could put the roof on and just tie onto it.
We have an Amish contractor in this township, lives in this township, in Bethel Township, and he does roofs a lot cheaper than anybody else.
Well, that would be a
The
big
Amish always
issue.
work cheaper. If you need something done, you go to the Amish, you can always get it for a couple of $100 cheaper one way or another.
Well, it has to go out to bid, so he would have to submit a bid. We can't just go choose.
Right, we have to have bids.
Is that do we wanna have a general, what are your guys' thought, what are your thoughts?
I think we need a general contractor on the
think-
project.
I think someone to go in there and take the bull by the horns and get it moving, I would.
And keep it moving.
You know, we can't rely on,
You're gonna, if I may interject.
Yeah.
What you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get a scope of work, because they're gonna have to bid it, because they're not gonna just give you an hourly rate, there's gonna have to be an hourly rate and then a maximum to come in there, do an overall assessment of the building, and come up with a sequential rehabilitation list. So, I think the best thing, I'm just suggesting, the best thing would be to do is get people to give names, get a scope of work, from the engineer, roof. Get a scope of work and then put it out and let various contractors come in and tell you what it's gonna cost them to go in, scope it out, price things out, and go from there.
Yeah.
An alternative to consider is co-stars. West Cornwall Township, I had a consultant evaluate the roof, and it was 4,000 square feet. And we had co-stars approved vendors with pricing, and it saved them the advertising, it saved them the need for the bidding. It's already been pre-approved by the state as a candidate, and we got a very good price to have the roof replaced. We had four vendors who were on the co-stars list who offered their pricing.
that's a good idea.
That's a better one.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we need to do to move forward with something like that? With,
Well, I think what you need to do on the agenda for October, because that's gonna be an expenditure of money, you're gonna have to have an item, an action item that you're gonna authorize to get a consultant up there to price the roof, and then go to CoStar and get prices to do that. Scope of work.
did you,
So
I know, I'm sure you got that.
That'll be October. Okay, everybody understand, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Thank you. How does the township handle a project? This can't be the first time we have a large-sized project. There's something that needs done. So the scope of work and everything, that's right on target with the way things should be run, I believe, to get this addressed. When it comes to it, we're piecemealing it. We put some vanity cabinets in, we're gonna take care of an HVAC system. Hey, let's get a CoStarz in to do a roof bid because they're already pre-approved. But what does the big picture look like? And why is it not a project? Why is it piecemeal? You're losing it.
Because it
You're
would
just
have
not taking
cost
advantage of the
$2.2 million,
situation.
that's why.
Excuse me?
I said because it would have cost $2.2 million.
That's reflecting on what was done, but how do you do it right? I'm not saying
I
build
think
it.
the
I'm not-
majority of it will be done once the addition goes on, that's when the bid will be for most of everything inside. That's
The
gonna be
addition
the
will take
big.
care of what pieces? Is
Well,
there a
you're
scope
gonna
for
have to
that?
bid out what you want done in the bid, I mean,
So
I
there is a
think
bid
that's.
and there is a scope and there's a process for the addition, but there's nothing for the renovations of the building. You see, it's not a contention, it's just a conversation about what does it take to get our act together to create a plan and move forward.
I think we made some progress just now, I'm hoping.
It's piecemeal, I'm sorry.
I mean, Steve.
I think you have
Yeah.
the alternative, I think the engineer gave us a good alternative for the roof. I know it's piecemeal, but then,
It's just the way it's,
as I understand it, the bulk of the interior renovations were gonna occur when the addition goes on. So yes, there are Band-Aids being put in, but if you're gonna put the addition on, you're gonna have a scope of work, and then you're gonna have drawings for the interior, and things will be upgraded.
Would that be just for the back room, or is that for the entire library?
Entire thing,
The entire thing? Will we have a general contractor test at that point?
be going out for bids. They'll have to go out for
Or a
bids.
project manager, maybe I'm using the wrong term, like somebody overseeing everything, so that it's not extra stuff on your plate.
and like I said, I have no problem with that if these two both decide if there's somebody we can.
I need to fix the roof right now, because if we're gonna put an addition on at some undetermined future date, like that needs a roof too, so.
I mean, I'm not a contractor, I'm just thinking, okay, if we can fix what we have to, and then when I'm thinking, okay, if you build on your house is there 10 years, you put addition on, you tie it in. So I'm just thinking,
So are we waiting 10 years for the addition?
oh God, I just used that as an example. God, that next to, they're gonna run with it. No, I didn't say that, I didn't mean, it was just an example. I would like to see you get it sooner versus later, but.
We don't have enough, and we're struggling
I
to
know,
figure it out.
you are squished for room over there, so. When I went through and saw shower curtains dividing areas, and
It's
Yeah.
less than shower curtains,
it's interesting. So, like I said, I'm all for getting this rolling, and I've told you this many times, I'm tired, I wanna keep repeating myself, so. If we get you heating and cooling going, I'm looking for suggestions, do we get somebody, I think that we're definitely on a track with the roof, maybe CoStar having, and let's just get moving and fix what we have and then address the addition. I think we need to fix what we have. If we're staying, which I would hope at this point we're staying, let's fix it, and then when we figure out what we can do sooner versus later, I'm hoping, put the addition on. You're adding addition just like to a house, but we need to address what you're dealing with now. And that's just my opinion, like I said, I'm only one. So I'm looking for feedback.
Well, we've approved the heating and cooling system. I really think we need to drill down and get a project manager on this project. Otherwise, it's not gonna be called a project.
I think it's a
going
great
to-
idea.
Otherwise, it will remain piecemeal. And I can tell you from experience that the piecemeal starts turning into major issues.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
I mean, on our church project, one of the guys that was doing one small segment, his idea was, and he started running with it, he told other contractors that were working on there, he said, tell you what, each person do the electric in the area they're working on. Could you imagine what kind of electrical system we would have had in that building?
Okay, so
That- we need to have a project manager that has a vision, and then it's overseeing the whole project to make sure we realize what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and everybody like poo-poos the $2 million, but we don't know how much we're about to spend. We're just doing it one step at a time. We could end up spending more than $2 million and having less than what we would have had otherwise. So it would be helpful to have an end goal.
Go ahead, Brad, you had a question?
Did you have a question? Your hand was up. Well, part of my ignorance, I don't want to waste any more time, but who is in charge of maintenance of township buildings? How do we get to this point? Who's watching the furnaces and the roof repairs? It should never become a piecemeal thing where it's this, you know what I mean?
I watch the furnace, I mean, we just kind of, on our side, we take care of everything.
Is there a person in
But-
charge of township maintenance, property maintenance?
We
Is there?
pretty much took over that now.
Who did?
Yeah, that,
The road crew?
Yeah.
They've been doing everything.
That's kind of silly.
I think they expressed.
No offense, Mike, I'm just saying, I don't do road work, so you're my guy,
And I
right?
think they expressed that they're no longer interested in having, so.
It's a lot.
But that's what you're saying, you want a project manager, you would have a guy that's a head of maintenance for the township, you wouldn't get in this hole.
right, in another context, I'm gonna bring up something when I do the rec board report that addresses your issue, somewhat. Yes,
So, keep hearing about the addition to the library, so my question is, what's the plan for that? Is that something that is present, like, going to happen currently? Like, when is the plan for this addition? Because you don't renovate the inside of a building without doing the outside. Get the outside secure, get the roof done, make sure the walls, that there's no leaks, that there's no water infiltration. Then you put in the heating and air system, you know, and then you can, you know. So my question is about this addition. So do you just secure the building that you have now, or were you planning on doing that addition soon? Because if you are, then do that addition and do the roof all at the same time, because it'll all tie together.
My understanding was we were gonna fix the building and then the addition was, and this is the last piece of the project. That was my thoughts on it, but,
Yes, because when we brought a plan, it was to do the whole building all at once.
so, I mean, like I said, I mean,
Because that's kind of backwards.
so,
There is no scope, there is no picture. We don't know what the addition is, because we don't know what we're gonna do here. There's no steps to it, that's why there needs to be a plan. And with the plan,
No,
becomes a
I
budget.
hear you.
There's a budget and a plan, and it all goes together, and you have a goal in the end where you can tackle it. And right now, again, back to my favorite word, piecemeal, unfortunately, is the way we're approaching it. And I understand, we took care of the heating system, got it voted in, great.
You need a
Now-
manager. You need
Now,
one
next
person.
thing we're gonna piecemeal on was the roof,
I agree.
so.
I think we need a project manager. I think we need someone that's gonna take the bull by the horns
You can manage the
and run
project,
with
but
it.
what is the project they're managing? What is
Well,
the
that's my next
timeframe?
question. Help, what are we doing here?
okay, we have another question back here, we need to move on.
If you ask your project manager, he'd tell you to put the new roof on first, and then make your exhaust holes through the new roof, instead of having a bunch of holes, you gotta patch in the new roof.
Exactly.
If you
Makes
start
sense.
putting the roof on and run your old exhaust through the new roof, and that gets moved for any reason when you put the new heating system in, you're gonna have a patched roof and it's brand new, so.
That makes complete sense.
The only thing I don't like,
Propane or
what I don't
oil?
really like about it is it pushes it off into October before you get a roof. and then-
So they wouldn't go-
That's what scares me is the
They
time.
said it's moving.
Unfortunately, yeah, and
So
we'll
there
have
wouldn't
to
be
close
nothing
it
in the
up,
roof.
because if we don't,
Unless-
we can't.
Unless you can get your project manager to agree to start doing your heating system and your roof at the same time, and then at the last part of the project, run your exhaust out. That works too, then you can probably
I
get it
think
done.
it's being propane, I think it goes out the side. I don't think, exhaust goes out of the roof.
Well, is your new stuff, what's it gonna do? What are they gonna recommend?
Okay, one more comment, then we're moving on.
I think you better
What?
talk to Carl Zimmerman, he was gonna make you an offer to put up a library.
Okay,
Carl Zimmerman owns on a path of land around Bethel right now.
yeah, well, I was pointing to the guy behind you, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I was suggesting was earlier, is we know that the roof leaks cause damage to the exhaust hole in the furnace we have. The system might be shot, we don't know until we patch it together. We could probably have something on a lot quicker, have that up and running, it's properly time to go. You're happy.
Okay, well, we're moving past that now. We've had enough discussion on that. We don't want to beat a dead horse. Okay, next we have the approval of the minutes from August 16. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion, Jake.
And I'll second the motion. So motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried. Supervisor's comments, Robbie first.
I gotta find my notes. I'd like to make a motion to, I know we had the 4-minute rule for public comment per person. It's been in the minutes. We've been trying to enforce it. I'd like to authorize the solicitor to, pardon me if I get this wrong, a resolution to memorialize the 4-minute rule for the time limit for public comment. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So I'm making that motion just to follow up on what we have put in the minutes several months ago. So I'm making that motion.
Second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried.
Also, I would like to make some personal comments here. First of all, with the 4-minute time limit, and tonight, I must say, I'm happy to see more residents here. I think this is great. I just want to remind everyone that this is a township meeting. This is not a personal agenda. When you are here to make comments, please remember that this is a business. This is not something that is supposed to be made into a comedy show or to hurt people's feelings or slander them in the public, which have been done to me for the past 1.5 years. So I'm just putting that out there for the future to please everyone remind yourself why we are here. We are here to run a township. We are here to do our job. We are not here to cut each other down, make fun of each other, and slander each other in the public, and I could go on and on for hours. So I just think everybody needs to remind themselves why we are here. This is a township, but we need to run it like a business. 3 of us try our best. You're never going to please everybody. I wish I could, but it's not going to happen. So I just would like to remind everyone that we are here to do a job, and this is not a personal attack session. On that note, I received something last week that is, I'm not sure how to take. It was not marked personal or confidential, so that's why I'm going to address it to the residents of the township, because that's why I am here. I received, and I believe Mr. Graby did as well, I do not believe that Mr. Moyer did. I received a letter in my mailbox here at the township, and I'm going to read it to you. Again, this was not marked personal or confidential, so I'm going to read this. There's actually 2 letters. I'm going to make it short and sweet. One was from Mrs. Lisa Hassler, and one was from her husband, Mark. The words in the letters are the exact same, except the name is different, so I will not sit and read 2 letters. I'm going to read one. I, Lisa M. Hassler, Mark's was I, Mark Hassler, standing on God's creation without the United States, hereby accept your oath to uphold the Constitution. Now you and I have a personal binding contract in fact, honor, value, and consideration. Sincerely, Lisa M. Hassler. Sincerely, Mark A. Hassler. That was September 7th. September 8th, I received an email stating the same thing, the same wording, different date. I wasn't sure what to do with this after I sat down and I looked at it. I was a little concerned with the wordings, standing on God's creation without the United States. That's a personal opinion. However, I would like you to define, because I have no personal contract with you. I am here to uphold the Constitution of the United States and do my job as a supervisor. This letter holds no water with me, and I'm not sure where it came from. I've spoken to several Authority figures on this. And I have followed through with what they have told me to do on a professional level, on a personal level. But Mike, I know you have received them as well, so I'd like your comments, please.
Sounds like a threat to me, I don't know.
How is it?
That's why I'm asking to define what you're saying, because you and I have no personal binding contract. I have no contracts with anybody.
I had just asked, we had just asked for your oath of offices.
And I know.
as supervisors, okay?
And I followed through with
And
that
was-
correctly.
Right, and that's the response to receipt of your oaths of office. That's it. It's
That's
that
why I
simple.
wanted it, and you know, if you would have came to me, instead of playing the paper game, we could have discussed it.
It wasn't a pet paper game.
But I just wanted to make everyone aware, because it is election time. And what happened 2 years ago, and I'm not gonna go, sorry, in spring, and what also happened 2 years ago, we need to be professional, we need to be businesslike. This is not, I am not here for any personal gain. I am here to represent a township that I love. And I am here to do what is best for the residents of this township. And I have been harassed and ridiculed since the day I took the seat, and I'm okay, I have thick skin. I can sleep at night, I know the truth. But I would just like to remind everybody that think of your actions before, because the consequences can be very damaging to people, and we are a community, and instead of fighting each other, we're supposed to be working together. And we have not been given a whole lot of I have not been given much of a chance since I have been here, because I've been constantly under scrutiny. And I am running, which you all know, and this is not a political thing, because I want to continue to do a job that means a lot to me for a township that I am planning to stay in for a very long time. So I'd just like to remind everybody to respect each other as this election comes, to not slander each other as has been done in the past, and to move forward as a community, as adults, in a professional manner. Mike, if you have anything to say on this letter, but I just wanted everyone to be aware of the stuff that we need to put up with. Sitting behind this table is not easy. And this is weekly that we deal with stuff like this, with right-to-know requests and everything else. And I just want to make you all aware that we're still here because we care. Whether you believe me or not, that's on you. But I'm here because I care and I want to do a job. So Lisa, you have any questions for me, you are always welcome to come see me. I will be completely honest with you. I'm not sure what I've done to you. I have nothing against you. But remember, as we go forward with the polls, for everybody involved, to respect each other a little bit more.
That's a good
Because
idea.
it has been very nasty.
So would you like to then address the Lane Bixler campaign letter? Mike, would you like to address your notes that are nothing but lies and slander?
What notes they are.
Here we go again.
Hang on.
This is not the forum for political
I
discussions,
understand.
okay? So I think
She
we gotta
asked.
go back to the agenda and move forward.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
otherwise we're gonna be here all night.
And it's not the time for give and take with the audience.
One, do you have anything more that you wanna say? in your
No,
comment?
I just think, I'm just trying to get everybody to respect each other and try and get along. That's my concern.
That would really be nice.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, would they?
Yeah, I'm talking from receiving it. Go ahead.
You think we heard how this started out with keeping the meeting in a township business and not having personal vendettas?
This is township business. It came to me as a township supervisor.
What she was expressing as her personal feelings is not township business, basically wasting everyone's time with here. If they have something that's outside of here going on, it should be done outside of here.
Sir, this was addressed to me as a supervisor. That's why I brought it up, not as a if it comes to my house, personally, this came as a supervisor. That's why I wanted to discuss it.
You just took a vote, for limiting everyone to 4 minutes.
You know what?
And took a whole lot personal more time. to
That's
address
okay.
it.
We can move on now. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate your
I thought that
time.
was done though.
Okay.
So what's fair for people back here talking, they're cut off in 4 minutes, but you yourself take more time to do personal business, Because I don't think it was addressed to the township, it was addressed to you.
As a
It's
supervisor,
personal
sir.
business, Not township,
As a supervisor.
as a supervisor.
Yes, it was addressed to me as a supervisor.
If I'm correct, this is like the agenda meeting, is that actually on here anywhere?
I can make a comment, I'm a supervisor, I can comment.
So
Can we move
don't
on?
spend time on libraries and roofs, we go into whatever you two got going on?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, hang on.
This got
This
to-
sounds like another personal attack to me. And why don't you do your job, Chairman, and shut this down?
Thank you, sir. I
Thank you.
appreciate the courtesy.
Please do your job.
He didn't get a
Yeah.
letter.
This got to the point where they have holes in the roof, furnace is not working.
Yeah, hang, we've already been through this. We've been through it.
We've got the library, we're moving forward, let's work together, stop.
Yeah.
Get on
Like,
with the meeting.
let's
Get on
move
with the meeting.
forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna get on with the meeting here. Okay, next we have,
You.
yeah, comment, I have a couple of comments to make. Number one, we have an executive session just before this meeting, about 20 minutes long, dealing with personnel issues. Can we have some respect back there?
Ma'am.
Ma'am,
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 excuse me.
all right, let's be respectful mutually of one another.
I tried, Jake.
Okay, so we had this executive session. I also want to say I got the front end loader bill. I believe that's going to be in the bills.
It was, I did get it from you in time for the bill.
Okay, so the total for the front end loader repairs was $1,897.01. While I was talking to the gentleman that fixed the loader, he said there was only one thing on the machine that didn't work, and that was the air conditioning. He checked it out, the fan blows, the compressor turns. So evidently there's either a blown hose or it just leaked Freon. So I thought for the comfort of the guys on the road crew, because it was pretty hot the day he was over there, it was hot and sticky, I asked him to come back over and go through that too, since we saved even more, almost $300 over what he had initially quoted on fixing the loader. So he's estimating it's gonna cost about that $300 to get the air conditioning done.
That's about right.
So,
The only problem I have with that is it took a month to do it, so we just spent almost $6,000 more on rent of the other loader, which my guy would have had it done the same week for $4,500. We still would have been ahead of the game, but it is what it is now. If it's fixed, we'll see, I guess.
So, is the loader fixed and ready to roll?
it's been fixed,
Okay.
it's been fixed.
Can't do anything about it.
What about the wheels and stuff? You were so concerned about the wheels.
The only concern about the wheels is they need sandblasted and painted,
Okay.
because they were not washed
Right,
after the
right, if
winter
you get
season,
salt,
so
that's what you gotta
they
do.
were caked with salt. And you got rust running down the tires.
Okay.
So can we send the rental back? Can we have that picked up?
Yeah, I mean, the machine is running.
Are you
There's
considering
nothing
using
wrong.
them for other repairs?
What's that?
Are you considering to use them for other repairs?
This gentleman,
Yes.
he's a certified cat mechanic.
Yes, he is.
And the prices are right. So I would have no objection to using him again in the future. So, okay, I just wanted to mention that. We had 2 bridge notices came in from the bridge inspector for the township.
Sorry.
One was Bay Shore Street, I gave that to you, did you take care of that, address
That's
it?
taken care of, yeah.
Did you
Was
grab-
it,
Go ahead.
oh, okay. I was just gonna ask, the requirements of the email that I forwarded to you state that he needs to have photos and signatures and a plan of action.
I didn't see that, I just
Yes,
saw
oh,
pictures
the
of
last
that.
couple of paragraphs. So, I had that. And then this, I guess you addressed that one too. That's the Mechville Bridge.
For the route, yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think it was the root ball
Yeah, yeah,
got in
yeah.
under the bridge. Okay, let me get that out of the way. All right.
You're not looking to move on, are you?
No,
If we pass Mettville?
yeah, we were at Mechville.
I'll wait then if you're doing Mettville.
Oh, we just did.
He's done.
Oh, no, you're not. No.
Right, there needs to be signatures on this one.
Yeah.
for the Bay Shore, do you wanna get me the pictures? I will send it to this gentleman along with Jake, and so it's all done as a
What do we
package
need
to them.
All the signed pictures, is that what we need?
Yeah,
Primarily, yeah.
for Bay Shore.
Mhm.
Get that in, and we will get it taken care of, so they're good.
I didn't see that part of it.
Yeah. For Mechville, you need to sign saying, yep, you're aware of what needs to happen. It needs to happen within the 60 days. If you're done with some of this and you've done it all or whatever, grab pictures of this too, and then we can get it to them.
Did you do the culvert work?
I mean, I didn't even see that one, so I don't know.
Right here.
I didn't see that. Where's that at? That's Mechville.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Mechville.
I didn't see
Again.
that one. I only saw the other one. I didn't get that one.
Okay.
So we need it signed so that we can tell him, yes, we've gotten it, and then we will be dealing with it in the 6-month time. And again, if you do it before that, you need to grab the pictures, get them in so that we can get it to them, and then they can do their new inspection, make sure it's done. Okay.
And I just need a copy of that.
Do we need to make a motion to sign it?
Copy of
It
I
wouldn't
need a
hurt.
copy of the Mechville.
I can reforward it to you.
Yeah, I didn't-
We need a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion for the chairman to sign a bridge priority POA notification for Musselman, was it Mount, for Mechville Road?
Mechville Road.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Well, I understand that you are taking the pictures of the bridges and sending them to the inspector. Isn't he coming out and inspecting the bridge himself?
Yeah, that's how he got the pictures that he sent us.
Or he's sending you pictures? Or
He
you
sent us
sending him
pictures of deficiencies, and we have to send him pictures of resolutions.
Or what you did, repair?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that wasn't stated, so I'm just asking.
These are bridges that are over 20 feet that get inspected. We have 10 of them.
All right, I think that's about it for me. Mike?
Yes, I got an application for a part-time maintenance road worker. Ed's on light duty right now, and I thought it'd be good to have a part-timer as on needed basis. And, he's a good guy.
Can you talk closer to the mic?
Yeah, he, does maintenance already out there, full-time, so he just help here as needed basis.
You're looking, just to correct, you're looking to add him just on a as needed when you need help and there's no one around?
Yes, correct.
I know Ed is on light duty right now, so I know it's been tough. Does that go with the standard non-CDL, correct?
He doesn't have a CDL,
No,
So maybe
maybe at a non-CDL.
the non-CDL rate, which is at, I'd have to look, cause I don't know, whatever we stated in our minutes for the non-CDL rate, on just an as-needed maintenance employee, road work,
I don't know what he said.
how do you?
Yeah, he's-
probably more maintenance than road work because that would be without a CDL.
Okay. I mean, I think it's always good to have extra help if needed, especially if somebody's available on days that, when you're looking for someone, especially with having some injuries out right now, and I'm fine with that, I'm
I'll
fine with
make
that.
a motion to hire him part-time.
Who is it?
Is this for a maintenance versus
Maintenance, yeah.
road crew laborer, or is this in addition to that? I mean, because
It's maintenance for wherever we need him.
At the
You're talking
non-CDL
about just
rate.
a plain laborer? Well, then it'd be just plain labor, you wouldn't give any other title to it.
Well, what, maintenance, laborer slash road worker, helper, employee, non-CDL, I don't know.
Just part-time laborer.
Yeah, part-time laborer. Okay,
Okay.
part-time laborer,
So we have a motion on that?
I'll second.
Okay,
Who is it?
does it matter if that's not on the agenda?
No, I mean, it's part-time, it's emergency, because your guy's out.
Right, okay. All right, so we have
I'll give it to you.
a motion?
I second.
Okay,
Yeah.
second. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried.
What's the name?
When would he start? It is James Seeger.
SEG or
SEG.
SEGER. Okay. Just make sure that gets filed. All right, next we have the police department report, unless you have anything
No,
else. Okay, Mr. Murphy.
Last month, we had 4,327 miles. We used 289 gallons of fuel. We responded to 6 domestics, 2 thefts were reported, 26 traffic citations, 3 non-traffic citations, 13 warnings were issued. We had 8 criminal arrests, 16 phone assignments, 7 security checks. We had 9 residential/commercial alarms, 5 reportable accidents, 2 reckless driver complaints, 8 motorist assist, 36 traffic stops, 26 fire and EMS advisories, 23 law agency assist, 16 suspicious situations, 22 disorderly incidents. We had 31 miscellaneous complaints and 3 court appearances. We had 220 activities for August.
Okay.
During the storm, I guess, it was August 1st. Was it the 1st, Ryan? I think it was the 1st. I think within 10 hours we responded to 15 weather-related calls, accidents, trees
Mhm.
down.
Yep. Okay, thank you. All right, next we have the emergency management coordinator report. Brian?
I figured we could use some comedy here.
What you're gonna eventually see is the damage for the storm through some of the municipalities.
This is why you don't drive through flooded waters. So this was pardon?
There used to be a roadway.
Yes.
It's no longer there.
It only takes 4 inches for a car to be moved by moving water. It takes about a foot for water to move that's still to move a car.
That's along the side of the roadway, the ditch, the white line is gone, and that was 2 feet deep.
Yes, this is 19 inches from bottom to top, washed away completely.
What location's that?
So these are just some pictures of the bridges that were damaged by debris that were washed away by the water. Water is very powerful. It's hard to see, I don't have measuring tape here, but this was about 2.5 feet deep. Again, key message, water is very powerful. Don't mess with it. None of these rocks here belong here. Key message, water is very powerful. Don't mess with it. Again, none of these rocks belong here.
There's a culvert and the rocks were, the pipe was undermined, all the rocks were washed out.
It's on my Schubert Road.
The culvert, right? Yeah? I learned the difference between a bridge and a culvert, didn't know the difference. The culvert is completely closed by debris. Again, this is a bridge. The first bridge that we went to, I got a nice bath trucking through there, but it is completely damaged underneath, again, by the water. The roadway was completely washed away at one location. It was pretty neat looking at it. The black top just got picked up and moved over. It was a cool image, but I think it's cool. This is it. The roadway just got picked up.
Put out in the woods.
Put out in the
That's
woods,
crazy.
yes.
Yeah.
Again, here, this was along the roadway. Any vehicle could go over it and collapse it. Again, that's a better picture of the macadam or the blacktop that just got picked up and moved over. This was at a location where the water was so powerful, haha, shocker, water is powerful, and completely re-diverted over the roadway and did wash the road out. When we went out to go take pictures on Friday after the storm, the road, the side was about 2 feet until that following Monday when I went back out, it was down to 3.5, some spots 4 feet deep.
Is that on Foss North? Yes. In the Strauss Country Club.
Okay, that was a driveway that did get completely washed away by the water because water is. Oh, thank you! This is the actual creek bed, but there were some boulders in property on the grass that were moved by the water. I do have about 700 to 800 photos. I'm not going to show them all to you tonight. So if you would like a little bit more education on water and what it does do, ways that you can protect your home and be proactive instead of reactive, please reach out. I'm a nerd about all this stuff. I don't want to bore you guys anymore. But that's about it.
All right.
There are very few roads I don't get everyone
Thank you.
I'm serious.
All right.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah.
I would like to say, take a moment to thank, during that whole storm, I know how bad it was, and Brian was out. I don't even know how many hours he was out, but I want to thank him and Alicia for their time. They put a lot of work and not a lot of sleep in, as well as our police, our fire, and our road crew. I just want to say thank you to everyone who was out. That weather was horrible. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody who went out and put in their time to do a job and take care. And I know we have a lot of work to do. I couldn't believe when I went and looked at some of the roads what water does. So I do realize, Alicia, that water is powerful now.
Thank you.
You have taught me something. But I just wanted to thank Brian and Alicia, the police. I know they were extremely busy. The fire companies were out. You know, our road crew was out, and I just wanted to thank everybody for all their hard work and their dedication to a mess.
So since I'm not included in any of those categories, do I get thanked as well?
Well, sure.
Okay, because I was out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I didn't know you were out, so thank you.
That was quite obvious.
Excuse me?
That's all right. We'll move forward. We'll move forward. We have public
Doesn't matter,
works.
there was a couple of them out, it makes no difference who was on vacation and who wasn't.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Public Works Department.
And Legion Drive paving is,
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Brian.
we're in a hurry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
get that paved off, Legion Drive paving.
Oh, that's this one.
I think they're trying to figure out what. Are you ready, buddy?
EMA's job during a storm like that is to go out and report, and we have to photograph everything as it happens. If we do not photograph the damage, it did not happen. This gets provided to the county and eventually to the state and federal government in the event that there is funding. Unfortunately, the storm did not meet the level of funding. So all the damage you see there is going to be fixed by this municipality. It's not going to be funded by county, state, or federal agencies. As of now, they have fallen millions of dollars short on claims.
Wow.
There is no residential assistance either. There is some loans for agricultural and small businesses, which are loans through the state.
So you're not seeing any funding coming for
If
anything?
somebody in this township can build millions of dollars of damage, there is no funding. There's no grants, and that's what my people are telling me. So, what we are saying. So you can plan ahead how you're gonna fix them in this township, if it needs to be fixed.
Is that it?
No.
Go ahead.
In front of you is a quote, should be in front of each and every one of you. Fire and EMS dispatched by using an app called 911, which they pay for. On this app, you can put locations of key things, like fire hydrants, risers, door numbers, and things like that. Myself and a bunch of fire company personnel are actively doing this. It will take a long, long time. Problem is, this is on our cell phones. The screens are too small to be able to view all this information. Some warehouses might have as many as 200 pins. So it just looks like a big colored mess on your cell phone. To overcome this, fire departments start checking in to buying tablets, getting a data plan which gives them a bigger screen. When they approach these cell phone companies or these providers, the providers are telling them most of the time the municipality pays for this plan. The quote in front of you is one of many quotes that they have gotten. It's the cheapest quote. The item circled at the bottom is what they would like to have. But this is a quote for a non-profit. Both fire departments want to know if you are willing to purchase the number of tablets they need and pay for the data plans. This would assist them in finding everything we need to know, which is a lot. We don't know door numbers, we don't know riser numbers, we don't know box boxes, we don't know those. All that will be eventually loaded onto these tablets and shared with all 9 mutual aid fire departments and 2 here. That will be shared with police and EMS. Each fire department wants 4 tablets. It would be a good time now to update EMA's ability to photograph storms instead of using our own cell phones. So that would be 10.
I know how hard it is to look at your phone for that.
Also be done under a government program too, if you decide to do that.
So you're gonna have to take it under advisement and put it on the October agenda because it would be involving the expenditure of public monies. It's not ever, it wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah, so we'll review this. Thanks for giving us the information, but we can't vote on that tonight.
How long's the quote good for?
I'm looking, it doesn't,
It doesn't say.
There's no time limitation on it. So it should be all right.
I'm sure with something like that, it's probably.
Is it a limited quote, Brian, or is it? It has to be a limited quote. Well, is it good for 30 days? Is it good for
Well, yeah,
a year?
this was a promotion at that time. This is gonna change a little bit. But this is only a quote for 4, not 10.
Right.
You just have to ballpark it in October if you want to do it, multiply the silver cost by.
Can you get an updated quote for October is where I'm headed.
Yeah. Can you do that, Brian? It looks like, get an updated quote for the October meeting.
right before the next meeting, is it?
Yeah,
Right
this,
before, get it like a couple, like 5 days before, so Jane can get it on the agenda.
yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify, you're looking at 4 for each of the fire company and then 2 EMA, total of 10, correct?
Yeah, it should be about 4,700. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, but just get us an exact quote and have it in time so that we can put it on the agenda for October.
Now, are we going nonprofit or are we going government? What's the difference? Change that, get the government.
The fire company's nonprofit.
Yes.
Get 8 of them at nonprofit, 2 at government. Unless, who do you get paid, by the township or by the?
Township.
He's a township employee.
You're gonna have to get 2 government.
8 nonprofit and 2 government.
Okay.
What if we, if the township is owning them,
I don't know if the township's owning them or buying them and giving them to
Alright.
each fire company.
well, let's see what the price difference is on.
Yeah. Let's get quoted both ways.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense. Anything else, Brian? Go, Brian.
Last year, I provided the snow blowing, the people that did the snow blowing, which was last minute. Some were already contracted by PennDOT, so we could not use them. And at the last minute, the price gouging starts, because now they realize we need them. I would advise that you approach these people with some type of paperwork, seeing if they want to be part of this. Their hourly rate at this time to just warm up. And to advise them to make sure they have their liability insurance and whatever else. So we know who's gonna be on board before they get approached by everybody else.
Do you have a list of who you used before that we can go
Yes,
off
I
of?
do.
Is that something that we could have?
We
That
fill
we?
out some type of paperwork, asking if they're interested, yes or no. Their hourly rate, because it varies a lot.
Do you have paperwork worked up already? Can you do that?
Whatever you need as far as insurance wise and that too should be on there.
Right.
So you're looking to have some kind of form made up basically and you fill in the questions? Is that what you know, their information, kind of like a, I'm not gonna say an application, but yeah, kind of listing all their information?
We went by, it varies several $100 an hour.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We used to have a sheet like that all the time that it was referred to, so.
If you could
But
please.
I don't know who current ones are, we haven't had a list for.
Yeah. So if you could get us a list of people and Jane could work on the form and then we can move forward. How do we can talk about, we can take care of that. If you could get her a list of who and then we can move forward with
Yeah,
that.
get the process started.
Brian, we'll connect.
What's that?
We'll connect, okay?
Is that it?
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Are you sure?
The library board gets to go through.
Well, thank you, Brian. Next, we go to the Public Works Department.
Yeah, Legion Drive was just paved. Price on that was $63,716.66. They did a good job. Dex did that. Faust
Wait a
North.
minute, so you're happy we can
Yeah.
send back their information so that they can get you an official bill? Because what you have is just their pencil copy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they did a
Okay.
good job. And Faust North Road, decks were down there working on the pipes right now, and they're gonna straighten out the creek a little bit so that it doesn't flood the house out. So they were there today working on that.
It's under emergency, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we had emergency permits for that. Or, yeah. Yeah, we need emergency permits from DEP. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the flooding issues, why, the Wednesday, I was there all day and we closed all the roads down, so that comment that Jerry Bowman made was a joke, because no matter what, I had an emergency Thursday, I wasn't gonna be here either way. So anyway, for the flooding, everything was taken care of. 2 guys were on, and actually the one guy took care of most of it.
Okay, that's it?
That's it.
All right, next we have the solicitor's report, Mr. Price.
Yeah, I'll pass out a draft of the nuisance ordinance that the board asked me to prepare. We can review it this month. If you're interested and want to discuss it at October's meeting, Jane can put it on the agenda. And then only one other item, the 911 resolution needs to be acted upon tonight. I have the resolution, and basically it's just agreeing to enter into the contract with the county to provide 911, and they set the rates. So it just needs to be done by resolution, but you need a motion.
I'll make that motion to have the resolution for the Department of Emergency Services agreement.
2021-29.
I'll second the motion. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
And that's all I have, and I'll just give these to you, Mr. Chairman, and then you can sign them at the end of it.
Steve, quick question. Nuisance ordinance and disturbing the peace ordinance, completely different? Are they kind of, because I know we do have a disturbing the peace.
Right, this nuisance is mainly trash, litter, debris.
Okay. So it is still, it's two different then?
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
I think it may have, I think there is something in there about disturbing the peace from 11 to 7.
Okay.
But it doesn't repeal or take out the other ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
And then if we have anything to add or
just
discuss, we can do that.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the engineer's report. Mr. Steckbeck.
I have a ministerial task, reduction of North Point's financial security. There's a letter I sent, you have copies in your packets. Okay. North Point requested a reduction of $6,623,000 out of their originally $10,500,000 letter of credit. There was a prior release of about $3.3 million. The remaining work to be done will be $589,965. That would involve majority of it is landscaping, site lighting, bollards, and a little bit of site lightweight concrete work. So I'm going to recommend that you approve that reduction so Jane can send a letter to their bank.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. I'll second the motion for the reduction in financial security. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Okay, next item would be the Transportation Advisory Committee. The TAC held their final meeting last Tuesday evening, and they approved their report to you, which I believe you should also have a copy of that. We do. Okay. Effectively, the tables 10 and 11 of the McMahon study were revised and merged together. We've eliminated the two separate transportation service areas and combined them into one. Because PennDOT would not be able to have any of their projects at the interchanges designed, permitted, and funded for at least 8 years because of their 12-year program. Those were taken out because the Act 209 requires the money to be spent within 3 years of your approval of this update tonight. so those were taken out. 4 new projects were added. We've added the Airport Road Route 501 intersection realignment. We've done the balance of reconstruction of old Route 22 from Gravel Pit Road to the east, all the way to Route 419. We've added reconstruction of Brown Road from 645 going east, about halfway to 501. The other half was recently reconstructed by North Point as part of their project. And we have, what is the other one, Mike?
22. We were not doing anything on Margaret Drive, right?
No. Oh, Legion Drive, which we completed. Drive. So with those projects added and the districts combined, the new traffic impact fee calculated out at $3,110. And so our sense, the Traffic Advisory Committee is recommending that you adopt that as a revision and update to the 2009 study. That will then become effective immediately, and we can move forward then with protecting those funds and getting them spent within the 3-year deadline.
All right, so we don't need to.
No, you need to make a motion.
We need to act tonight.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
And then I believe that also should be a motion authorizing the solicitor to prepare a resolution for adoption at your next meeting, which cites the history of when the committee met, when you made this motion to accept the recommendation and putting the new traffic impact fee in place.
I'll make a motion for the solicitor to create a resolution. What you said. Got lost.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. What about the October ordinance? Yeah, that at the bottom on the agenda. Traffic. Yeah.
He said resolution. It was done by ordinance the last time. Does it need to be a resolution or an ordinance?
I don't even see it on my.
It's the top of the second page.
Very top second page at TAC.
Oh, you did it by ordinance the last time, Jake?
Yes, all of our transportation impact was done by ordinance, not resolution.
And we're gonna have to do it by ordinance. So just make a motion to authorize me rather than by resolution, by ordinance, and then we'll get it advertised and.
So we have to set a date, or?
No, we just do it at the next.
So I'm going to change my motion from resolution to ordinance.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we're amending the ordinance. Amending the ordinance.
Amending the motion.
Amending the motion. Okay. That's it for that?
Just report on the Brown Road reconstruction that was done as part of North Point's project. They did get the pavement base ground up 12 inches of depth, adding new Portland cement and some water. And they rolled it, compacted, allowed it to cure. So they put on, the specs called for 3 inches of blacktop. They put on in the range of 3.5 to 5, depending on where it was. It was necessary to get the right crown in the road and make sure we had proper drainage. They're not finished yet. They're going to come back in with loads of topsoil and fill in along the edges of the road. They were going to be getting their topsoil for free from the Central Logistics Park, lot number 4. And a contract was supposed to start 2 weeks ago, and they could have gone over and gotten all the soil they needed. And then there was a contract shutdown over a dispute between the developer and their contractor Quandell. As soon as that's resolved, they'll be back on it, and we'll get that topsoil in and get the grass planted. We still have about 6 weeks of grass growing season, I think, so we should be okay.
Good.
And that's all, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the Municipal Authority. I don't know if we have anything to report.
Randy?
Have anything, Randy? Dave?
Vice Chairman there.
Nothing?
Nothing new, Jake, or whatever. Basically, there are a few things in our meeting. The Municipal Authority meeting is on the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. So if anybody of the community has any questions or concerns, come to the meeting and we'll try to answer them right there for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Next, we have the Library Board report other than building renovations. There was discussion as far as the 3K run?
5.
5? Oh boy. It's almost double. Is everything pretty well set in place for that now?
We requested closure of Schubert Road from Clara Road to Airport Road on October 9th from 8 to 11.
Florida Airport.
Did you say 8 to 11? I'm sorry.
Yes.
8 to 11.
The run's at 9.
It is harvest time.
October
9th.
9th. Okay.
Have you contacted fire, police, or anything yet? Okay.
Okay. So, I guess you'll.
I can do I can do an email. And I can do an email about fire, police, and that.
How many people do you think you expect?
25?
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, we could get hold of some fire police and get the barricades up.
Okay.
We could let some of the residents know down the way.
Yeah.
Unless you're local.
But we don't have a whole lot of time.
Okay.
You didn't talk to the residents? Okay. You might, I mean, I don't know, you might want to, especially, yeah, with harvest time, the farmers are going to be busy.
It's only 25 people.
Yeah. We should be all right.
But they might be running through the mill. Just saying.
Wear your old sneakers. But yeah, we'll take care of the fire police for you.
Okay, was there any report on the dumplings, what that did? Any idea?
I think we sold 235 of them.
235? Okay.
Do you have any other fundraisers coming up besides the run?
We have a gingerbread house building that people will pay ahead of time, and then when they come in, it's a huge event. We usually have about 150 people that come in that actually build the house. And they pay a certain amount for a pre-constructed house, and then they get a bag of frosting. It's a whole big event. Santa's
Gotcha.
there. It's amazing.
Okay. I guess it's probably on your website.
Yes, it will be on the website.
Okay, that's all I had to say about the library board. And then we had the rec board on the 16th of September. They had some comments about the nuisance ordinance, which I'll read over and see if that aspect doesn't apply. If it does, then we're cool. Let's see, there was also discussion. One of the members of the EAC came to the meeting and recommended that they blacktop the walking trails, the hiking trails, so that people that have disabilities can get in there with wheelchairs and get into nature, as opposed to going up to the Appalachian Trail. So that was brought up, that's under discussion. Pickleball courts, they say they need 3 bids. So I think they are looking right now to find 3 people to bid on it. They were working on that. They had a question for you about putting out bids on the pickleball courts. Would you need to put a package together, a bid package, or?
Well, I'll use pen bid. That's been a more convenient way to get the word out and get more interest. It's subscribed to by thousands of contractors. We have a pen bid ad going in for the new pavilion that they requested, the first pavilion. And we can certainly add pickleball to it.
Okay. Yeah, the discussion was they are looking right now at this point to do a pickleball court on Airport and one at the Fryestown Playground.
Okay, I'll have to go look at that playground, get some pictures and drawings.
Okay.
Are there drawings available for that park, Jane? Fryestown?
No, I don't believe so. I can look in the file and see what they had when they were originally looking at putting in the walking path and things like that, but.
Okay.
Right. Then the other topic of discussion was, they were talking about Public Works, and they asked if they should plan to have a part-time worker on Public Works Department with the onset of pickleball courts and pavilions and grass mowing there with the township properties we currently have. It will take one person part-time, especially throughout the summer, to maintain, which somebody brought up the issue about maintenance. It would be nice to have somebody just focused on maintenance of township properties.
That's why I wondered about this part-time person. What are we doing? Are they more road crew? Are they more building parks?
Let's get our feet wet, see how things go, and maybe we, if we have to, we can always, get more help if we need. I mean, this is still all new to us with having rec space and.
Yeah. Then
But
we had two more points. One was they would like to have the whole area of the rec park brush hogged. They said they had the stumps ground out, so they want that, if they could get that done. Jane, they also said they were going to check with you about the status of the gables on the Fryestown.
Yeah,
building.
that was one of the items that was not on the agenda because it was afterwards. In July, this board talked about the pavilion gable ends needing to be done, and there was no action taken at the July meeting. So they were wondering where that stood, and I said, I'll check the minutes, and that's what I found. So they had Dale Stump say, $3,800. He has now said it's not gonna cost that to just fix those ends, but I don't have 3 quotes, I have nothing else, that's what I know.
Okay. Should I recommend they get 3 quotes? On the board?
I mean, it's under the threshold.
He is on the, what is he? Oh,
He's on the rec board as an alternate, and we, not gonna
Can we
gouge
just
him.
have him do it, or no?
He does good work.
He does.
He's keeping the price down just to get it done.
Right.
And he, I have no problem with that.
So we need a motion on that, make it
If you're
official?
going to do that, it's spending money, do you need to then add this?
It wasn't,
It's not on the agenda.
it's not on the agenda, it's not an emergency.
No.
It's not.
Kick it to October.
Okay. Then the EAC held their meeting.
Can I back you up 1 second?
Sure.
On the rec board, Jeff? When Jeffrey was talking about the Penn Live advertising for the pavilion and the pickleball eventually, do we need to also put an ad in the Reading Eagle because that's our official advertising spot?
Yeah.
Saying it's gonna be on Penn Live?
Yeah, I'll send you an ad, it's very brief, just telling bidders
How to
that
get
there's
to
a
that.
project that they can find on Penn Bid.
Okay, I just don't want us to have an issue with the advertising.
Understood.
Thanks.
All right. So the EAC, if anybody has noticed the wetlands right off the township building here, The part closest to the building has been cleared out by an Eagle Scout for his project. Did a pretty good job, but there's a lot to go. So we have several other potential Eagle Scouts that are already interested in taking it to the next step and then the next step. I don't know, Mike, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, we're working with the Conservancy, the best way to maintain that, so it doesn't turn into weeds again.
Right. And then also to get native plants in there.
It looks so much better. He did a good job.
Yeah, he did. Worked hard at it.
He did. That wasn't easy.
So, that's it for the EAC. Unfinished business. Vacancies, EAC needs a member. Telephone potential savings, major savings.
Yes, Granite Telecommunications, I had a meeting with them. They looked at our bills after you guys said, yes, go ahead and send our phone bills. They are looking at, instead of $413.99 a month, they are looking at $105 a month for all of our phones. So I said, yeah, it sounds too good to be true. I said, what is the hook? What if we don't re-up? What are your fees? I got responses that there aren't any problems. What they do is they buy a bulk, and so we would be put into that bulk. It's a 3-year. After the 3-year, if we terminate, we have no early termination fee or anything like that. If we decided to stop before the 3 years was up, there would be a termination, but it would probably be the month's worth of billing. And he said, but I do not believe you're gonna want to go out of this program. He says, we have long-standing people in this.
It's quite a savings.
I don't know.
And it's legit?
It's legit, yeah. Yep.
So it's a 3-year sort of contract, and that's guaranteed for that 3 years, correct?
It is, it's not, it's a fixed price.
It's a fixed.
Yeah.
We can vote on that.
When do you have to sign up? When's your other contract?
We don't have a contract with anybody at this point. It's a month-by-month deal with
They're gonna
Comcast.
send you a contract?
I have one now.
Oh, this was, yeah, okay. This was a continuation. So you can vote on it.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the Granite Telecommunications contract?
Make that motion.
Okay, I'll second. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Okay, next, who's attending the county convention? I'm going.
Yeah, I need to let them know by October 1st. I asked for by September 22nd.
What's
Rob,
the
you
date
might-
again?
It's October 21st. It's a Thursday night. From 5 to 9:30 and only.
I'm gonna check. Because I'm moving. All right. I'll get back to you today. I'll let you know.
Okay. Next, we have the township received the ARPA number.
Yeah, it's just information for you. We've gotta put that on all of the communication from now on. Don't have to file a report until October 31st, so at the October meeting, I'll be bringing that. I don't know who's gonna need to sign and all of those. I don't think they know yet. I haven't seen any final documents, but it's coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. New business. Winter maintenance agreement with PennDOT, resolution 2021. Would that be 20 or 30?
It'll be 30.
It is gonna be 30. I
Move that up to 30.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were gonna have to.
Okay, do we have a motion on it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, vote aye for approving the winter maintenance agreement with PennDOT.
Aye.
Aye, motion is carried.
And who first did it and seconded?
Mike first, did I second?
That maintenance agreement, is that doing roads for the state?
It is. Yes.
Which road?
Pine Grove, Meckville, part of Meckville. Yeah, Fry's, no, we don't do Fry's Line.
It's listed on there.
County Line.
Okay.
We can keep moving, I can.
All right, so we have that passed. We'll pass it over.
Yeah.
Okay, then we had the Burger King Highway occupancy permit, 2 signatures from the chairman.
County Line, Meckville, and Pine Grove, Dennis.
That's mostly all the roads back in Beckville.
County Line, Meckville, and Pine Grove, yeah.
Township has enough roads to do. Keep after, we don't need to do the states yet.
Yeah, the worst ones.
Yeah, pretty rough.
I wanna-
Okay, do I have a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
What's happening is there's a sidewalk that is coming over and hitting the property right there in front of the library. It's not coming through the library parking, like we would have liked, but it's encroaching. So they also need, PennDOT needs us to sign off saying, yep, we're aware of it, and that we have to be on the application also. So they would like you signing here and signing here.
So Mike made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, next we have Masano Bradley, a letter for the zoning hearing attorney.
He had run for a local judge. He was anticipating getting that as a result. He will be on the ballot in November. Upon that, he is looking to see if the township is still willing to use the firm of Masano Bradley. The attorney that's been coming with him is Christopher Mubdi, M-U-B-D-I. So he has seen how Bethel Township residents come in with their applications and how it's handled. So they're just hoping that we would continue to use their firm. So you have a little bit of time to mull it over, see if there's anybody else you want to use, but again, they're hoping we stay with them. And he, let me just say that he's been, he's enjoyed working with everybody at Bethel Township over the years. Everybody has always been extremely kind and sincerely appreciate their professionalism. They look forward to working with us in the future.
All right. So we have next the MMOs for the police and non-uniform.
Authorize chairman to sign.
I'll make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign.
Or SIG, as the agenda says, SIG.
SIG, yeah.
Yes, Sig.
We'll fix that.
Second that.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next we, next we had trick or treat night.
I did get an email from Christie. They did say they would do what Topahaken does, what Bethel does. The 31st is a Sunday night, so I don't know what you guys want to do, police department, if it matters.
Traditionally, we always have it Halloween night from 6 to 8.
Okay.
I think it'll make sense to.
I do.
Parents will have to run home, after school during the week.
We gotta do, looking at 6 to 8 again, right?
6 to 8.
If that's what you're choosing.
I'm with Chief Murphy on that one. I like if it's on Halloween.
Yeah.
And then
that's-
authorize me to advertise
And
in
then-
Myerstown.
Authorizing a motion to have trick or treat October 31st from 6 to 8 and authorize Jane to do the advertisement.
I'll second that.
Sorry, Topi does pay half. I typically do it, and then they send us a check for half the fee.
All right, I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Next, we have trustees insurance.
They have sent out their ballots of 2 vacancies that they have. We do have the 3 insurances, so there's the 3 on there, if you want to see who you're voting for, their bios are on there. They've been in PSATs many years.
So we need to make a motion to have the chairman sign those as well, correct?
Correct. Or take the action, which is to vote for them or to not. Or say no action, whatever you like.
Okay. I'll make that motion. For the chairman to sign or to vote or whatever he,
Well, it's
Your-
it's the board's vote for these people. So
Okay.
either you can say, yeah,
Yea or
vote
nay.
for them,
Okay.
or no, or just take no action. Do any of them. Just can't do all three. Pick one.
Pick one. The name like champ, you can't go wrong. Insurance.
These people have been involved in PSATs for years, so.
they've been the same, these three have been the same for a couple
Can't say
years.
how
or whatever.
long, but
Okay.
they're very familiar.
We'll see.
What would you like to do?
Well, if Jane says that they've been in this role for years, I mean, I'm a big fan of PSAT, so they haven't done it wrong yet, but what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I have no objection to that. I'm the signer.
I'll make the motion that Jade sign.
You'd be the second.
Oh, I'm the second.
I made the first, yeah.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
You could do her one.
Okay. Next, we have a complaint letter about Legion Drive water issue. I saw that. There we go.
He said this isn't just a result of Ida, this has been happening over rainstorms.
I remember this one from when we did Legion Drive last year. While all the equipment was there, we offered to put a curbing in, and he didn't want that, and then they ended up putting a swale in for him, and that's all he wanted. So evidently the swale's not working.
So he did not want curbing at the time, he just did the swale instead?
I think that's what happened, I don't know. Do you remember that, Tech?
Yes, sir.
That's what I kinda remember with that one.
Would you like to go talk to him?
Can.
Know that Legion's done.
No, this was the first one. This was last year's.
Right,
This
it's-
was in
it's on-
town.
But it's ongoing,
Mhm.
so. Not that so great. Okay. Website needs an update.
Yeah, a couple years ago, we had gone with a new website host. They moved out of the area, they didn't really complete the project, nor did we pay them at this point in time. So we're looking at it, and there's a lot of information that is just kind of right there at you. We would like to freshen up the look and make it a little, now that we've done one, we now wanna make a nice one. This one's functional. We're being told that the WordPress that we use could still go with what we're looking to do. We also contacted the school to see if maybe any senior projects need to be done or something like that. So, we're just kind of looking at it. I don't have any numbers for you. I just want you to be aware that this is one of those things that Lee is, good at, and we've been looking at some lower hot Grove, I think, is one that we looked at, thinking it looked pretty nice. So we're kind of trying to get in that direction, easier access for our residents to use and the whole deal, so.
Did
Just
you-
to let you know.
Did you get any response from the school?
Not yet, I'm gonna have Lee check that out. I'm kinda letting this on Lee's side of the world, she was on vacation last week, so I'm gonna have her do a follow-up.
I mean, if you don't hear back from the school or nobody is interested from the school, let me know. I do have somebody from Moyer College that needs community service hours, that.
Because that was another area we were gonna hit, was some colleges that,
Yeah.
perfect.
All right, thank you. All right, payment of the bills, general account 33830 to 33860. Open space number 191 and rec and street light 229. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion, Jay.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Okay, next you have public comment. Boy. I saw Tom, Dennis, Alicia. Go ahead.
Just real quick for Jeff, what's the status on the lighting for next door? The last email was on the 8th saying they'd get somebody in by the end of the week and haven't heard anything.
I got an email this afternoon, that they finished the measurements, they adjusted some of the wall lights down, so they don't shine as much towards the outer boundary. Their engineer Bowler will be preparing the lighting exhibit and submitting it to us so we can see what their measurements were compared to what the approved plan was.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to comment on those roads that you signed with the state. Those are the most undesirable roads in the Beckville area. And they're narrow, and if you get off the blacktop, you ain't going nowhere because the ditches are all full of work. So everybody's aware of what's going on back there. I used to plow them roads when I plowed for the state.
They don't maintain them very well back there, the state. The state doesn't maintain them very well, back there.
Okay, Randy? And then Alicia.
Two quick questions. Was the Caterpillar loader repaired?
Mm-hmm.
What was the cost?
Let's see. $1,897.01.
What's the cost that's been incurred so far for that John Deere loader?
The lease amount, do you know what it is?
A couple lease amounts, yeah. 2 months of $57.80.
How much?
2 months of $5,780, and I don't know what portion of this newest bill. Those went till August 30th, and I don't know when it was terminated or anything else. That was another item that I have. I got this bill today.
Was it returned?
We just talked about that earlier. I guess it's gonna be, we have to make the call, I guess, tomorrow to have it picked up.
All right, Alicia?
Alright, so I'm gonna put my fireman's hat on here real quick. The Community Fire Company of Fryestown will be doing a chicken barbecue October 2nd. A couple months ago, the citizens did voice some concerns about how we can better our chicken barbecue. We did listen, and we are making the barbecues ourselves. You will also be getting 2 thighs of chicken from Bell & Evans, potatoes, rolls, chips, drink, and applesauce. So that is October 2nd. If you would like to purchase tickets, you can see Dave or myself.
How much are your tickets, Alicia?
Dave, what is the cost?
$10.
Oh, $10, I'm sorry. I just saw that. $10 a ticket. Our goal is to raise $3,000 to pay off that ladder truck that has caused me personally some heartburn. So that is our goal.
Can I get a tally from over on our end and just text you? How
Yes.
many I need? Okay.
I will be at the station tomorrow at 6 o'clock if I get out of school on time.
What time is the pickup?
The pickup is 11 to 2.
To 1.
11 to 1. Thank
11 to
you.
1.
Now, when you said thigh, is it drumstick and thigh, or is it a thigh?
2 thighs.
2 thighs.
2 thighs.
2 thighs.
It's 2 thighs. You
Darn.
get a half. That's my goal next year.
Okay.
While we're on the fire companies,
Mhm.
I think it was discussed about increasing their, donation you get from the township, is that correct?
Budget's coming, which is my next comment, but, yeah.
Well, if they consider enough monies, they might be able to get their own tablets, is what I'm trying to, wouldn't it be easier for the township supervisors if they had the funding to actually do that project themselves? Or not?
Sometimes you get better pricing with quantity.
Well, they wouldn't be buying the same amount of tablets if they were doing it themselves.
They'd be buying 4, we're looking at 10 possibly. Each fire company would be looking at 4,
And two.
And two for
and 2
EMA.
for the EMA, so we're looking at 10 versus the buying power of 4. I mean, I don't know what the price is gonna be and what it's gonna be on a break, you know, maybe you don't get one for quantity.
I just use that for an example, but
I
they've been
know.
asking for more money. And I'm not a fireman, I just know they would like to have more money so they can function. They function with an empty bank account. You know what I mean? He even came here to try and get, fire extinguishers filled through the township. Well, they should be able to do that, they should be on an annual thing, and they should have the money to get it done. And they should, you know, they shouldn't have to bring it to meeting, you know what, or should they? Maybe they should. But I feel they should be able to function by themselves. We just need the township to up the ante a little bit, so it can help them out. Does that make sense?
Budget's coming.
Yeah, I was
Put
just
that
gonna say,
on our-
budget's coming up.
All right.
So what's the story with the money they did collect to repair the fire truck? Are they
Yes,
gonna
thank you. We did earn, I can't give you an exact amount, but we did earn a couple $1,000s, and it is going towards the repair.
Towards the repair?
Yes, but we are looking, we still have a loan, we have a $20,000 loan against the apparatus that we are looking to get paid off, so that's not hindering our other expenditures.
So you're getting the fire truck fixed?
Well,
Or-
they're still looking for this engine that was offered to them. It
Okay.
never showed up. And they would like to talk to the people that offered to put it in for free.
Okay.
Where we're at.
I haven't forgotten about that. We're dealing with a lot of pieces and trying to make it all work as one.
Because I had talked to, Travis Travis, and asked him, I said, he said they're planning on fixing it to trade it in for something else.
Yes, and I would love to talk to you one-on-one, so we're not holding up anybody else's time. If you have any
Okay.
questions, please come see me.
All right, thank you.
You're
Oh, we're
welcome.
looking for donations to fix the thing. Because I helped collect some of it.
Okay.
Buy that chicken barbecue.
All right.
Do not adjourn.
Do not adjourn. We need a meeting dates for
For budget.
budget.
We don't need to discuss it now, we'll put it on the October meeting.
ma'am.
I just want you to get your organization together for next meeting, so you know what some dates can be done.
2 dates, correct? Back to back is what we normally start
Whatever you
with.
think we're gonna need.
Okay, I mean,
If I have wish list now, that helps me organize a budget.
Yeah, I have a couple things that need to discuss.
But when
with
you come with surprises, it makes it very hard.
Yeah, Murph and I are already on that, okay.
Okay.
All right, so remember
All
that,
right.
guys.
Sorry, budget dates. We're not gonna set them out.
No, but
Just get 'em.
let's check your calendars and.
Next month.
Okay.
October already.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? I don't see any other.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Good evening, everybody.
Since you have that whole pile there to sign, I'll just give Mike half these checks, Jake, because you're gonna be here a while.